Hello, everyone. I'm really very happy to be here and to share some ideas with you. I think this is an amazing event and we can just spread some positive energy around the world, which we all will need very much. As Gregor said, I'm a psychologist and drama trainer. So in my session, I'm going to combine drama and psychology. So we are going to talk about emotions and drama. And I think that we all experience different emotions, the whole range of different emotions. And that's quite acceptable because we need all of these emotions. And as language teachers, we can offer to our students even more than language education. We can teach them some life skills. We can teach them how to control and how to manage the emotions, especially nowadays when we live in these difficult, challenging times. And process drama is one of the medium, one of the methods which really enables us to teach our students how to be aware of the emotions and what to do with the emotions. And before I share with you some ideas how to use process drama, I would like you to think about the role of emotions in your life, because we all have different emotions, and I guess that you experience lots of emotions. So if you could, just write down what emotions you would experience in your life and what is really important. Okay, because emotions are important in our life and they are important in learning. As teachers, we all know that it's impossible not to isolate really cognitive learning from the affective one, because the physical and emotional state is extremely important just to provide a sense of security, a sense of safety to our students. So emotions are important, and even we have some evidence from neuroscience which indicates that emotions are absolutely integral to learning. And Imordino Yang, the psychologist, says that learning is dynamic, is social and context dependent, because emotions are and emotions form a critical piece of how, what, when, and why people think, remember, and learn. So it is literally neurobiologically impossible to build memories, engage complex thoughts, or make meaningful decisions without emotion. So emotions are important. Emotions are embedded in our life and in learning. And I think that we can define emotions as memory markers. When you go back to your childhood or when you go back to your education, what do you remember most? Usually we remember things which are connected somehow with emotions, how we felt in a certain context, in a certain situation. So when you have emotional contact with some personal importance, then you will remember it better and longer because it's stored much better in a memory structure. So it's important to somehow to put some emotional contact into things we teach our students. So briefly saying, we can tell that emotions drive consciousness, consciousness drives attention, and attention drives long-term memory and learning. And it's important to, especially in the language acquisition, to think how to remember, because sometimes you know the word, but it rings the bell, but you can't recall it because it's not stored in a long-term memory. But when you make some emotional association, then you will remember it much longer. So also emotions are important, especially those positive emotions. And we know from the research and positive psychology that positive emotions energize the brain. So we know that positive emotions can encourage students to do things, they motivate them and then enable them to experience so-called flow. So actually they increase the efficiency of learning. So how to engage learners' emotions? We can do it in different ways. First of all, through the meaningful, significant interaction, but also through an interesting story. And this is the moment when drama comes. And we've heard before about the theater. And I would like to tell you a little bit about the process drama and what's the main difference between process drama and theater. So first of all, we can tell that process drama is an activity, it's a whole class activity, which is multisensory, which is immersive and inclusive. So everyone is playing a role, working together. at times within an imagined place and situation. So process drama is a sort of shared imagined experience, but it always has a learning purpose. So what's the difference between process drama and theater? In process drama, we do not rehearse and perform scripts for the theater performance. The more important is just the process which is happening, the process which is happening between the students, the process which is happening in the mind of a student, because there are many different processes going on. So we can say that there is a social process, interpersonal process, there is an intrapersonal process. So it's really very much focused on the process than on the product. Of course, sometimes we prepare the performance and we finish with the product, but we call it process drama because it's more like process than the product. And process drama provides roles which are emotionally compelling. And what is really important, for me, it's really important, and we can teach empathy through drama. When you put somebody into somebody else's shoes, what we do in drama, playing different characters, it's probably the best way to develop empathy. And students are really emotionally engaged in the process. Of course, the drama situation can be fictitious, but the emotional engagement and empathy they stimulate is real. Because even if you create a very fictional context, what students really experience when they go through is very real. That's why we can talk about so-called distancing effect in drama. So you create a fictional context depending on what you want to teach, what issues you want to explore, or what linguistic competence you want to teach your students. But even though it's fictional, actually you explore some real emotions, real problems. But the fiction is very important because it gives your students a sense of security, a sense of safety, and a sense of belonging. But in the language classroom, we all know that very often students cope with linguistic fear, with linguistic anxiety. And drama gives this fictional context which makes the students feel safer, because if they make the mistakes, they can always tell that that's not them, but the characters they play. So it's really very important. And why do we pretend? Because drama is very much based on pretending. Pretending is important because it keeps the neural pathways active and it strengthens neural connections. We all know from neuroscience that it's important. The connectivity is very important. And also it moves us from the here and now into the as if and what if. And it's nothing different than creativity. And so drama is very creative because we can move, we can use our imagination in a really unlimited way. And drama, we also use the phrase called metaxis. This is a term introduced by Plato, but then used by theater directors. And one of them, Auguste Boal, says the metaxis is the state of belonging completely and simultaneously to two different autonomous worlds. So it captures somehow the tension of the dual perception of the world. Because on one hand, we're in a fictional context, but on the other one, we're in reality. And it creates amazing energy. So metaxis is this energy which we can take from both worlds. And I think that the second language acquisition, or a second language in some ways also opens up a different world. And I always say that in each language, you can somehow reveal a different self. So we can be very different in each language. I don't know if you can tell it about yourself, but me personally, I can notice the difference, how differently I behave in different languages. So when I speak Italian, which is my really favorite language, I think I'm really very expressive. I'm emotional, I'm different. I love English too, of course, but I think that somehow we reveal different emotions with different selves. So it is in a way being on the edge of two different worlds. And in drama, we use lots of different strategies and lots of different conventions. They are very well known by actors, by theater directors, but in drama, we use them as the techniques just to build drama, to help students to focus on drama, to stimulate their attention, their thinking, also their interthinking. It stimulates their talk and action, always within imagined context. So there are many different drama conventions and drama techniques. I guess that you know some of them, but very often we just stick to role playing or improvisation, but there are many more which we can use. And I would like you to invite you to my virtual drama classroom. And in drama, very often we use some books, we use some poems. And today I would like to invite you to work with me on drama, where we are going to use the book by Chris Wummel, The Saddest King, just to give you the flavor of process drama, okay? So if we were all in the classroom, I would like you now to move around the room and freeze into a statue that depicts the emotion I will call out. You can do it if you have a space and you can walk around the room, just do it. But if not, just sit comfortably in front of a computer, okay? And now I would like you to close your eyes, and I will be calling out different emotions, and I would like you to feel the emotion and try to express this emotion through your body, through your face and through your whole body. Okay, are you ready? So again, take some really deep breath. Close your eyes for a while. If you want, you can walk around. If not, just sit comfortably. And I would like you now to feel sadness. Try to feel with all your body. Express sadness with your face, with your body. All right. Now I would like you to feel pride. Try to be as proud as possible. To express it with your face and with your body. Okay. And now love. Feel love in your body, in your face, and express love. Hold your body with your face. Right. Okay, now nervousness. Try to feel nervousness in your body and express it. Loneliness. Try to feel really lonely. Feel it, how it is to be lonely. Okay, and now happiness. Try to feel happiness and express your happiness with your whole body and with your face. Okay. All right, you can open your eyes. And I would like you to tell me if you notice any differences in your body when you were depicting different emotions. Was it different? Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what's really the difference? When we feel different emotions, even different muscles are activated. Yeah. Negative emotions, physical contractions in body, definitely. Yeah. So you can feel it in the body that it's very, very different. Okay. Thank you for that. So this technique is called physical theater or physical mapping, and or we can one of the technique which we use was in the classroom, in the real classroom, it would be movement or still image. And this activity really prepares students to link personally with the key theme in the story. I haven't told you about the story, and I haven't told you the story because we are going to explore it through drama. And now I would like to invite you even more into my virtual drama classroom. And the drama will will be set in a town long, long time ago. There are no machines, there are no mobile phones, there are no cars, and you will create the town. So I would like you to become an object or a building that is a part of the town. Okay. So for instance, you can be a bench, you can be a tree, you can be a church, you can be a bakery, whatever. And when you enter this space, if it was a real space, you would enter the space in the middle of the classroom. But now just enter our virtual space and tell me or tell us what object or what building you are. For instance, I can say, I am the bench. People sit on me and laugh together when they are tired. So tell the object and then what you do, or what people do on you or with you. Okay. I'm the kite, tree. Yeah. And I think it depends, of course, on the level of proficiency of your students, but you can ask your students to elaborate a little bit. So I am a tree which, for instance, observes the people who are walking in the market square. Okay. People rest under I'm a tree, people rest under the shadow of it and eat its fruits and enjoy the environment. Wonderful. Okay. Church, candy house, fantastic. Well, so this technique is called talking objects. Before I tell what it is, I would enter the space as the king, and I would tell, I'm the big statue of the king, of your beloved king. We all love the king. His face is always happy. Okay. So this is, as I said, the convention or the technique called talking objects. And this strategy, I find this strategy extremely useful in a second language acquisition because, first of all, it makes students more engaged in drama, but also it allows to practice a language of description. You can practice different patterns and structures depending on what you really want to practice with your students. And you can use it really at many different levels of proficiency. Sometimes it's enough to say, I'm a tree, I'm a church, I'm a bench. And sometimes you can just ask your students to use some pronouns, some adjectives. You can say, I'm a wooden barrel, which I was standing in the corner when, to different patterns, okay? I'm fed up of the bench. I'm fed up of seeing you sitting here. I want to be alone now. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so it can be really used in different ways. You can also ask your students to make a map. Map making is also possible, and especially with younger students, it works very well because they love drawing, so they can draw a map of the town, of the kingdom. And why is it important? Because a map provides a visual representation, an organizer. It's a reminder of the setting that could be added to later. So, and we always have different students in our group. So some students can have difficulty with imagining and visualization. So when they see something real, such as a map, usually it helps them to imagine the setting. Okay, so also the map mapping is possible. Next convention, which is really, really very powerful, is teacher in role. One of the most powerful techniques we use in drama, because in drama, you actually empower your students. So you give power to your students, and if you want to correct something, you should do it through this technique called teacher in role. So now, I would like you to. So now I would like you to believe me that I'm going to be the king. I pretend to be the king. So I am the king, and you are my wise advisor. I've never had so many wise advisors as I have here. And as a king, I decided to make a new law. The law says that everyone in our kingdom, in our land, must be happy all the time. Okay? And you, as my wise advisors, can comment on this law. What do you think? Is it a good law? Out of the role. So do you think that asking people to be happy all the time is a good law or not? You can now I'm out of the role, you can encourage your students just to comment on that, because they are really wise advisors. So you, in a way, you empower them. Yeah? You give them the right to speak. Not at all, of course. But I am the king, and I will make the law anyway. Okay. And now there's a moment when you can ask your students to prepare a draft of the legal document saying that everybody in our kingdom needs to be happy all the time. So you can also integrate some skills. It's just the example of teacher in role, but it's really a very powerful technique, and it creates a character students can get to interact with, because they can ask questions, you can have conversation with, and you can somehow provide some information they need. You can help students with the language, because we can have students with different level of proficiency. So you can give them some structures, some words, and also you can diagnose the linguistic level the students have. You can ask some questions, you can collect some information, and you motivate your students to talk. Because in drama, we have to need some tension. We build the tension. So a teacher in role is one of the techniques which allows teacher to control a group and to control a dynamic. It's really, really important, because it facilitates the language production. You can use it in different circumstances, and depending what you really do. Okay. And now one more technique. So now I want you to be townspeople. You have heard a rumor that there is going to be a new law introduced in our kingdom. So you are walking around the market square, let's say, or our virtual market square, and you are gossiping. You are spreading some rumors about the king. So what can you say about the king? And me as a teacher, I'm also walking around, okay, and just providing some information or some question. I can say, what do you think about our king? Maybe he's completely crazy. How could he introduce such a stupid law? Okay? Or what happens if someone loses a beloved person, or if somebody is heartbroken? So what other gossips of rumors we can hear? Give me some. The king is not real king. Yes, the children would say that. He's making difference in our life. King must be joking. The king loves women. He isn't in good mood. Okay. Yeah. There are lots of different gossips and rumors. Okay. So students usually go around and they gossip, and they like this technique. It enables students to loosen up in a role, and I think it's just more natural, when it's like in a contrast to the previous technique, and they are less individually on the spot, so they can relax a little bit more, because they are going around, and it's very good for students with different special educational needs, because this technique enables them to do it at their own speed and rate, and use the vocabulary they know. And also you as a teacher can approach them personally and help them with some words. So they can also generate and gather thoughts, ideas from each other when they go around and gossip. And it also reveals their thinking and understanding of the key issues and problems. So then as a teacher, you can use this information in or out of the drama. It's really a very good technique you can use. And also you can, if you want, you can ask your students to use a certain pattern. Have you ever heard, or have you heard that? So depending what you want to practice with your student linguistically. There are many more.
Sorry to interrupt. It's your 5-minute warning, Alicia. Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you. Okay. There are many more conventions and techniques. Of course, I have no time to explore them all. Some of them are called like small group playmaking, performance carousel, eavesdropping, many more. I'm not able to explain them, as I said, but I do encourage you to read about them either in my book or in different books, and practice them, because they are really, really good. So what is the story which I use in this drama? This is the story outline. at the beginning of the drama, we don't give the story outline to our children because then you will lose the tension the drama will create. But what's the outline? In this country, everyone appears to be happy all the time. This is because the king has decreed that it's against the law not to be happy. This leads inevitably to inner tensions for the citizens, as no one feels happy all the time, and not being able to express various emotions is stressful. One day, a little boy cries in front of the statue of the king. Everyone tries to stop him crying in various ways, but he's soon arrested by the king's guards and taken to the palace. The boy meets the king, who looks very happy. The king asks why he's crying. The boy explains his dog has died. Suddenly, strange sounds emanate from the king. The boy looks closely and realizes the king is wearing a mask. The boy pulls away the king's happy mask and reveals the saddest face the boy has ever seen. The king's dog had also died, and the boy and king get together laughing and crying as they share dog stories. The king explains that when his own dog died, no one dared laugh or cry in his presence. That was why he made happiness compulsory. The boy explains that you need to show what you feel, and the king realizes his folly and rips up the legal document. Then everyone immediately enjoys a really good cry. That's the story. Of course, if we had more time and if we do the whole drama lesson, I would use more techniques and conventions just to reveal the whole story. But I wanted to give you just the flavor of process drama, which I think is really, really important just to develop emotional competence, because emotional competence is something which can motivate students intrinsically. And also drama involves a significant focus on reading some nonverbal messages. So you can, even when you have students struggling with the language, they can use some nonverbal language, yeah? And it's important: gesture, eye contact, movement, positioning. And verbal behaviors are really well and even better recognized and developed, because you also in drama, you have to rely on active listening and response. So there are many more arguments for using drama. As I said, special educational needs, you can include all your students, you can adjust the level, you can give different roles to different students depending on how they feel and what their competence is. If somebody is more interested in drama and would like to try, this is the book which Greg mentioned at the very, very beginning. So thank you for participation. I would like to wish you lots of positive emotions for the Christmas time or for the New Year's time. But also, I would like to wish you the ability to accept all emotions you feel, because all of them are very needed. We need to express all our emotions, because when you bottle up some emotions, then when they explode, it can be really a disaster. And I think students now struggle with lots of different emotions, with anger, with sadness. And if you don't allow them to express them, sometimes, unfortunately, it leads to depression or different anxiety disorders. So thank you very much for being with me and participating in this session. Thank you very much.